What if your deepest pain could become your greatest strength? In this episode, Damaris shares how she faced unimaginable loss, reinvented her life, and discovered that resilience, empathy, and presence are the keys to true healing. And is it right for me to understand that by going through this hard um, period, those changes, that's when you found your purpose? That's what you said?
Yes, 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 yes. So when you and it doesn't matter what kind of loss. Every loss is different, but in my case, it was the loss by my husband by suicide. It really took my security, my self-esteem, my my whole world shaked in every single shape and form that you can think of. And with that, it really forced me to really look for other things that I can reinvent myself, because there was questions like, what do I do now? I was a stay-home mom for 20 years. My husband was the provider, and now here I am, 45, having been in the workforce for 20 plus years. So what do I do now with three little beings that I gotta provide now for them? And so that really kind of pushed me to say, okay, I need to do something, first of all, for myself, and then second, for my kids, right? To kind of make sure I kind of provide it for them. And so in my journey, I tried everything. I didn't want to go back to corporate world. That's what I used to do before. I was a software, SAP software implementation. And I would travel quite a lot. And so I was at a different stage where I had my kids now. So I didn't want to be traveling every week. So I said, I got to find something. So I did try quite a few things. I went back to education. I went back to, working at, different places to kind of find my path and see what I wanted to do. But you know what? I found out that I didn't want to be on a 8 to 5, 6 o'clock job. And so I said, okay, I got to do something else. And oddly enough, at the same time that I was trying to search what I wanted to do, I got a frozen shoulder. And so what that means is that I couldn't move my arm at all. I have very little limitation. And so I said, I can't do this. The diagnostic was 3 years, you'll be like that, go to physical therapy. And then there was no surgery, nothing else that could help me. And I said, no, this can't be, like this. And so I ended up doing my occupational therapy. And with that, I told my therapist, hey, I think this is emotional. And she went, oh, wait a minute. Let me send you to someone that I think it can help you. And I said, okay. And she was also an occupational therapist, but she was also certified as a emotion coach.
Hey, Damaris. How's it
Hello.
going?
It's
What's
going pretty
exciting
good.
going on?
It's going very good. We have the temperatures dropping in Minnesota pretty drastically. So
Oh, yeah, it happens fast, right?
already, yes, September. It's gonna be September, so we already getting the 60s degrees. So from really
Okay.
hot to now a little bit cooler.
Okay. Yeah, we are getting here hotter than usual. So,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
okay. Well, send us some
It
heat over here.
yeah.
Yes.
And but it varies. So we get like cooler mornings and then during the day 80s. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll deal with it. Yes, but I'm happy to be here.
That's very good. I was, well, anxious and expecting since our last call. And yeah, let's make use of our precious asset, which is time. And tell me, I'm really interested to understand what's going on with you right now and understand a little bit more of your unique journey.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and just give for your audience, I'll introduce myself and kind of let them know who I am and why I'm here. And first of all, I want to thank you for giving me the space to share not only my mission, but I also share my long time dream, which was to go ahead and get my book. So I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce my book right away. And
Voices
so
of
I
Empathy.
already have it. It's life. And so with that being, further, I'll tell who I am, where I come from. And so my first name is Damaris. Um, I was born in Mexico, and I've been here in the United States for, gosh, since I was 12 years old. And through my life, I had very interesting journey, not only from coming to San Diego. That's where my parents kind of resided. But through my life, I have moved, gosh, like now close to 30 times, which is a lot. Yes. But that has really served me to be flexible in life and to really not attach to things. So that actually kind of what played really good for me. And I'm a mother of three young men. They're very athletic, and so they keep me busy and young. And then I also, through my journey, I was able to go ahead and, had a really shifted turn of 360 degrees change in my life when I was 45. I became a widow. I lost my husband by suicide, and that kind of brought me to what I am here now. That was kind of like how my book was born, how I became a certified practitioner, emotion code practitioner. And so yes, so that's who I am, and I'm really here to be a voice for those of us widows, and who really, everyone who's done grief, to really be that voice of how it is to be in this journey. Unless you don't walk through it, I don't think people can understand. And so my book is titled Voices of Empathy, a guide of what to say when someone goes through grief. And I think this topic is so much needed, so much wanted, but nobody's, or I shouldn't say nobody, but not a lot of people are talking about it. I always give the example of saying, why we get so excited when we're welcoming a baby, but when we are saying goodbye to a legacy of a life, it's very uncomfortable, it's very awkward, and we don't know what to do or say. And my mission is really to change that, is to bring empathy, presence, to be the bridge of not making that moment of that legacy of this human being that usually is a loved one of us, to really celebrate it and say, okay, here's this life. Let's go ahead and make it happy and not be so uncomfortable or say the wrong thing.
All right. Let's unpack a little bit. I want to understand what's your job today because I have no knowledge about it. Can
Okay.
you explain what it is?
Yes, yeah. So I have to. So right now I'm promoting and educating with my book, what to say and not say when people go through grief. Okay, so through my writing, that's kind of like my mission with my book, and my book just came out this week. So it's something that,
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah, thank you. And so if people can go to Amazon.com, look for Voices of Empathy, and they will find it. Now, about 2 years and a half, I started my new phase, my new second chances life, that I reinvented myself. And with that, I became a certified emotion code practitioner. So, what is that? So,
Yeah.
what really it is removing the trap emotion from a trauma, loss, or like a big event in your life. And we have different bodies of energy. One of them is the emotional energy. And when we go through that trauma or that event, and when I say trauma, it can be a loss, like you lost your loved ones, or a trauma, it could be, well, you went through a divorce and that was very traumatic for you. You were sexually abused, or whatever that trauma might have been, it gets trapped in your emotional body field. And so many people will go through therapy and like a talking therapy, and they would say, well, I've done like 4 or 5 years of therapy and I'm still stuck. Well, the reason why is because the emotion, the trauma that was trapped, is still trapped in your body. And so, in order for remove that, that's my job. That's kind of what I do. And so, my passion is to really remove that emotion that was trapped, so people really can move forward. Once that happens, people can see clear, they're not stuck, their life and their avenues start opening up, so they can really start moving forward. So that's what I now do, help people to get their trap emotions removed. Now for me, it's my passion to work with widow women and their families, because that's what I can relate to. But the emotion code can work for anything. It can work for finance, it can work for, whatever issue you have going on. It can really, it can be used for that.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I can totally relate with that. I'm only here today and doing this channel, this podcast, this project because I discovered I went through some therapists, but the last one it was the one that uh, helped me understand the childhood trauma that I had. We removed that. Otherwise, I would not be here today, honestly.
Oh, well, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
and the other thing I want to share to the audience is that there's so many. So the speed of how the world is changing and kind of moving forward, many modalities are surfacing. And so the emotion code is not new, but like it's been since I think 2007, I want to say. But it's something that is fast. People can use it, and it can be done from anywhere on the world. As long as you have like a way of, do a video call, then people can do it from all over the world, which is fabulous, because then there's not that excuse of like, well, she's on, the other side of the world.
yeah, yeah, indeed.
Yes.
And is it right for me to understand that by going through this hard um, period, those changes, that's when you found your purpose? That's what you
Yes,
said?
yes, yes, yes. So yes, so when you, and it doesn't matter what kind of loss. Every loss is different, but in my case, it was the loss by my husband by suicide. It really took my security, my self-esteem, my my whole world shaked in every single shape and form that you can think of. And with that, it really forced me to really look for other things that I can reinvent myself, because there was questions like, what do I do now? I was a stay-home mom for 20 years. My husband was the provider, and now here I am, 45, having been in the workforce for 20 plus years. So what do I do now with three little beings that I gotta provide now for them? And so that really kind of pushed me to say, okay, I need to do something, first of all, for myself, and then second, for my kids, right? To kind of make sure I kind of provide it for them. And so in my journey, I tried everything. I didn't want to go back to corporate world. That's what I used to do before. I was a software, SAP software implementation. And I would travel quite a lot. And so I was at a different stage where I had my kids now. So I didn't want to be traveling every week. So I said, I gotta find something. So I did try quite a few things. I went back to education. I went back to, working different places to kind of find my path and see what I wanted to do. But you know what? I found out that I didn't want to be on a 8 to 5, 6 o'clock job. And so I said, okay, I got to do something else. And oddly enough, at the same time that I was trying to search what I wanted to do, I got a frozen shoulder. And so what that means is that I couldn't move my arm at all. I have very little limitation. And so I said, I can't do this. The diagnostic was 3 years, you'll be like that, go to physical therapy. And then there was no surgery, nothing else that could help me. And I said, no, this can't be, like this. And so I ended up doing my occupational therapy, and with that, I told my therapist, hey, I think this is emotional. And she went, oh, wait a minute. Let me send you to someone that I think it can help you. And I said, okay. And she was also an occupational therapist, but she was also certified as a emotion coach. And so with that, I said, okay, well, let me try it. And she goes, are you familiar with it? I said, no, I'm not familiar with to what this is. And so I've been going 8 months with physical therapy for my shoulder, and there was very little movement. With a couple sessions, I was able to really improve and really have movement of my arm. And so I said, oh, what did you just did? Like, what happened here? And it was all energy. She explained how energy works, and I said, okay, let's keep going. And so within, I would say, I don't know, six, like, no, not even, but 6 sessions or something like that, I was, having full range of motion with my arm. And so so that kind of opened the doors and kind of really got me that curiosity of, let me check what is this. And I come from two parents that they have, they're holistic, they're in the line of holistic, they're also therapists. And so there was always that inside of me that it said, okay, kind of brought my antennas of when I was little of what my parents used to do. And so I checked it out, and I loved it so much of how the change I saw in myself, that I thought, okay, let me check it out. And when I did, I went and got certified. The certification takes, between whatever, like 6 months to whatever, like 8 months. People go at different levels. And I did it in 4 months. I did all my practices, and I went like full range on it. Like, I wanted to really get it off. And then eventually I was able to help my kids as well. And that's how I started and found out the emotion code.
Wow, so much power! Congratulations! What a beautiful story.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
what I can say is my wife had that as well. She would because of emotional things that she needed to treat with her therapist. Maybe it's not the same, but I think it's similar. She would shrug herself and not realize it, and would then start to hurt, and then only after relieving that load, it would. So it was manifesting physically, but it was totally, I would say, psychologically. Sorry if it's that the wrong word, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so so any pain, illness, it really manifests in your body in some way or another. And so, but it starts emotional, and it takes between 5 to 7 years to really manifest into your physical body. So let's say that somebody
Oh,
comes to me and say, well, I have this frozen shoulder. So I go back in time to just see, okay, what were you 7 years ago or 5 years ago? So we go, in time backwards to find out, because most likely that's where the trouble or the emotion kind of started, or
wow.
the symptom started. And then we go, okay, now it really manifested it in your body, in your physical body, but it got trapped in your emotional body 7 years ago. And
That's
most
so
likely, so
interesting.
yeah, so I work with like my table, or like the table that we get is of 60 emotions, and from there it never fails, Fernando. Like, how it's like right on the dot. It's so like wonderful how this works. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So if your wife was having some of that, the same thing with my shoulder. Some people carry their emotions on their shoulders, some people carry them in their stomach, or some people in their legs or hips is a big one. A lot of emotions get carried in the hips, in the shoulders, in their necks and their backs. And so yeah, so it's just a matter of like going through. It doesn't take long. It usually is about 30 to an hour sessions, and we find it, release it, and you move on. Yeah, you really move forward. So yes,
Is there an explanation why it takes like 5 to 7 years to build up and manifest physically?
I don't have the answer for that. Like, but the best thing I can say is because the emotion, it kind of builds up. It's like if you have a boil of water, right? You start boiling, but the more, so you're compounding, and
Yeah.
through the years we add more emotions. Well, eventually it's gonna surface. And so if if our bodies are taking and taking and taking more emotions, eventually it's going to be like in time. So it doesn't, sometimes it could happen immediately, but sometimes it just takes time for the body to physically show the symptom. Yeah.
Interesting. No, that's interesting. Yeah, it makes
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yes.
And it's interesting how open up you were to, because of uh, well, you were trying things, you were in search mode, but you were open, and when the opportunity manifested, you just took it. That's what it seems what you were telling me.
Yes, yeah. So previous to that, I was trying other things. Like I also was taking therapy, and so if you ask me, I've tried, one-on-one therapy. I've tried like acupuncture. I tried, tapping. I tried, what is called social therapy. Emotion called therapy. So my life was like therapy, 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 just because I wanted. But now I think as a big picture now, it's been wonderful because now I can really take from all these therapies I took, how I can help my current clients. And so I think as the time goes on, and you see the big picture, you see the puzzle pieces, how they're all kind of needed to be there. But now I can see it clearly why I needed to do all these therapies, why I needed to go through this journey. Because it now, my mission is really to help other women to be a voice of helping of what to say when we lose someone. Not have it so uncomfortable and lonely. That's another big thing. So I'm gonna jump into my book a little bit to say, why there's two things. People ask me, well, what's the perfect phrase to say? And I said, there's really not a perfect phrase because words can sometimes fail you because what one phrase can mean to you, I can take it differently. But there's two things and two gifts that we can give to people: empathy and presence. And I'll give you an example of how powerful presence can be for someone that lost a loved one. So through my journey, my boys play basketball. And so I was, you know, so used to go with my husband to the games and see them play. Well, here I am now, all by myself, walking into the stadium or like whatever, they were playing, all by myself. How uncomfortable I was. I was very uncomfortable. I felt like everyone was looking at me. And then on top of it, nobody would want to sit with me because they didn't know how to approach me. So I was very lonely walking into the bleachers, not being able to like feel comfortable. And there was one woman I remember really clearly. I was walking down to sit and find a seat, and she didn't say anything. She was one of my friends, didn't say anything or try to fill that silence. She just sat there the entire game. That meant so much for me because I just didn't feel like everybody was staring at me or that I felt like I had an illness, like nobody wanted to just be close to me. And it's not because people don't want to, they just don't know how.
Yeah.
And so presence and empathy is like the bridge of making a connection. That night I make a connection with my friend of like, okay, she gets it. She understands. She's here with me. And her words were like nothing. Like she was just there present for me. And it's the same for everyone. So if you're I don't know who we're gonna reach, what this message goes to or to who, but two things: empathy and presence are the two gifts that we can give to people in order to make them feel comfortable, more than words, more than words. And so that's kind of like my movement. Less, if we can have, start making people more conscious of being empathetic and being present, we can change the world on how we view death. And that's that. It comes to that. So
Yeah. Wow. The connection, right? Yeah. The
Yeah.
energy.
Hmm.
Wow. I
I know
totally
it's
felt it as you
profound. It's
described.
profound because, like I said, everybody's so busy trying to say, "Okay, what do I do?" And here's another phrase, another thing that I like to say: when we lose someone, we're not looking for poetry words. We're looking for that presence, that empathetic, that connection with people. So yes, words are important. And yes, we need to pick and choose those words appropriately to, to that person that is going through grief. But at the end of the day, really showing up for that person is going to remember that, like I do. I remember that day my friend came and sat down next to me and just stayed there with me the entire game. She could have probably had said something, but I don't remember the words. I remember her sitting next to me. And
Yeah.
so that's what I want people to understand, that it's your presence, it's your empathy, it's your what can I do for you is what people need and want more than,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to say pretty words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't. Well, you're talking about what you say when grieving, but sometimes we, in less extreme situations, we don't also know what you say. And my example of that is when I knew less than I know now, and I would try to remedy or help my wife somehow and saying things. Yeah, the intentions were good, but I should have just shut my mouth. And what I do now, and after learning after years of marriages, I just hug her, and
There you go.
and
Hmm.
the result of that, sometime after I started doing that, was she just told me, yeah, that's what I needed. So it was
Yes.
much more valuable than trying to say the right thing.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. That's a great example, hugging. And that's another big one. Another big piece, because think of the griever person or the widow woman that is going through it. They don't have any more physical touch. That it could be a
Yeah,
husband, a son, whoever, right? And that touch, it's gone. So when people embrace you and hug you, it's like that speaks more than words. Just
yeah,
because that touch, it's something that is so welcoming. And I think in this culture, touch is viewed as something different. And so there, we don't hug as much as other cultures, like Mexico. We hug all the time, right?
yeah. Us
Brazil,
too.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Us too. Us too. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, but here it's like, oh yeah, like no, like we don't do that. But hug, let's start embracing the hugs as something that is, and again, an extension, a bridge to make that connection with that person. And
yeah.
so yes, yeah, hugging is excellent, excellent.
It is. It is. It's nice. Well, yes. Yeah, I totally agree. It's one
Mhm.
thing I also miss, but fortunately, we are finding some friends here that are, well, as they say, huggers. So it's nice.
I
'Cause-
have my huggers too. Yes, yes. And now, it's funny that you said that, because I tell people, if I'm meeting someone, I'm like, I'm a hugger, so I'm not gonna shake your hand. I want to hug you. So,
yeah, yeah. It's a
so yeah.
nice way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we also, when we meet someone, either we know or not, we also kiss in the cheek. So, but that's
Yes.
that's that's gone now because no one does that here. So,
Yeah.
but
Yes. Yes.
it's a
Yes.
costume. It's a cultural. So
It's
we
a
understand.
cultural thing, but yeah, but I mean, it's also a cultural, but we can slowly integrate it. I like to be different, so I tell I'm just gonna hug you and stuff. But I get it. There's some people that you find resistance and stuff,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
it's one of those things that we deal. One of those cultural things, but
yeah. Um, your journey is unique. Um, and well, we all have unique journeys, but I want to understand if you were always that resilient, which is admirable, your resilience, or it
Okay.
was something that you kind of developed because of that trauma.
So it's both. So I come of a family of five. Both of my parents are Mexican, and there's three girls and two boys. Okay, and I was blessed in a way that I've been always this outgoing, positive person, but my parents play a huge role in also when they were, bringing us up to really be very positive. So my father um, used to be a pilot mechanic for Aeromexico in one of the airlines in Mexico. And he lost his vision at 40 years old. I was 10 at that time. And yes, he went through challenges in life because we never found out how or what caused his blindness. But he became like a very admirable. He, even though he was 90% blind, he was a swimmer, a biker, a massage therapist, acupuncture, or not acupuncture, but it's what's the other one with the trigger? Reflexology,
Oh, okay.
and and then like he used to adjust people, kind of like a part of like a chiropractor as well. And he wrote six books and
Wow.
play the guitar and play golf. So if he could do that and had this positive in his life, we I inherited that. He taught me that, yes, there's challenges in life, but they don't have to be, or they don't define you. And that's the key. So death was not gonna define who I was, my essence. And that was my mantra all these 9 years of, okay, this is me, and death is not gonna define who I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinvent myself. I'm gonna refocus my loss. I'm not gonna stay in the victim mode of saying, oh, poor of me, there's nothing else for me. What am I gonna do? I had to change my vocabulary, my internal vocabulary that it was playing in my head. So yes, my parents taught me some of that resilience. And if we are humans, we're gonna go up and down. There's no guess about that. I mean, there it's just gonna be like that. Life, we come here to learn. And so with that, I developed. So I had it and I saw it, but I really hadn't experienced it until I lost my husband. So all these years, I saw my parents how to be resilient, how to face life and reinvent yourself, how to do all these things. Now it was my turn to take those tools that I saw as a child and really apply it to my journey. And so I would say that I was lucky to have these positive parents, but then it was up to me to really take what I've learned into action. And that's when it's been hard, but it's been fun because now I say, now I get the second chance of really doing what I want to do, and with even more experience than when I was like 20 years old. So yes, it can be hard, but it takes one. Well, it takes a lot of things, but for me, the key of really making my journey fun, if I can say it fun, is really refocusing my mission of saying, okay, I have this tragedy in my life, but gosh, how exciting I get to reinvent myself. Now I get to try everything. I get to try it, and if it doesn't work, well, I try again. How fun it is to really go out there. And so when I say I'm trying things, I went and started taking cooking classes, gardening classes. You know, at some point, I want to take, guitar lessons. I was just experimenting and trying different things in my life to see if I could discover some talents that I probably were dormant, probably that I had them, but I didn't know that I had them. And I found that I love salsa dancing and I can be pretty good at it. And now I go out dancing a lot. So it's been funny in a way that I've tried many things in order for me to find myself again. I didn't stay focused. I could have stayed focused and said, well, poor of me. Now I have three kids, this tragedy, and I'm just gonna be sad and depressed. I mean, I know women that they stay like that for years. In my case was refocus. Refocus, and you don't have to know what you're gonna do. All I knew at that time, Fernando, was okay, I know there's something else for me. That's all I knew. I didn't know that I was gonna write a book. I didn't know I was gonna go ahead and become an emotion co-practitioner. But I had in my heart that I wanted to help women, that I still had a lot to share with people, and that really life could be beautiful. And I would say that also, and people have told me this. I've been blessed that I have happiness within me inside. I smile and I transmit that. And so I just say that it's just one of my gifts that God said, okay, we're going to give this smile to this girl because she's going to go through some difficulties and she's going to get through it. And so I'm blessed that I can share that smile with people and really say, whoever I meet today, I want to leave it better than what they knew me. And it could be just a simple smile. Just like you said, a hug, a smile can go a long way too. So yeah. So that's
Yeah.
to answer your question. Yes, it was something that I was taught as a child, but it was the tool that I had to put in action and develop as I got into my journey.
Because it helped you by having your parents as examples, as references, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And not everyone has that model. I was fortunate to have really good parents of, being lovable and being positive. My dad, I mean, with his blindness, he accomplished a lot. And so for me, that was a great example that say, okay, if he could do that, I can get through this in my boys. Yeah.
Yeah. His will to leave manifested in you as well. I have this will, this desire to leave. And as you said, I'll refocus from what I understand is you are refocusing from that sadness, that loss, that all that, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, negative emotions, and refocus to let me bring this smile to the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the other big thing for me, another big motivation was a lot of the times, especially those stigma losses like murder, suicide, substance abuse, they are very silent. And we tend to not talk about them, number one. And number two, most people focus on the way they died versus their legacy. So my husband had depression, and there's different kinds of depression, okay? In his case was not something that was obvious, kind of like that Robin Williams, an actor, funny, successful. Everything from the outside look good. That's the one type of depression that we see, and then we also see the other one that is medicated. They can, they have to. They're just sad all the time, can't go on with life, and they take medicine. Okay. Well, for me, it was very important to keep his legacy of this wonderful man, this wonderful human being of being, strong, a good dad, excellent husband, provider, all these qualities he had. He was a coach of all the sports that we had, here for the boys that they play, and very well known in the community. And I wanted his legacy to continue. So by writing the book is continuing his legacy, continuing his love, a good friend he was, a good, um, you know, all the good things that he did when he was here with us. And so for me, that was another, wish that I wanted to do, not only for me, but for my sons, that they know that, their dad was this awesome human being. And yes, he made not the best choice, but that's not what is going to define him. Like, we tend to forget all these wonderful things that he did. And so, by me speaking about it, by me saying, and being aware of what mental health is, that's another part of it too, that we don't talk about it, or starting to slowly more people open it about it, but still there's a lot of stigma around it. There's a lot of taboo around that, and so many deaths are not even notifiable, like the data, because people don't say, oh, it was suicide, or it was, all these other, substance abuse is another one that they keep silent. They don't say it. And so, so for me to talk about it, it's important, because it could be somewhere out there too that kids going through some tough times. Yeah.
But other than that, keep his legacy alive was uh, what was the reason? Not to be remembered as this because of the suicide.
Yes, yes. That's really what it was. Yeah. I
Good.
didn't want the focus to be that, because he did more than that.
Yeah.
He was, a great coach, a great dad, and I wanted to make sure that those things were still remembered of him, not only his last decision. And so, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully, his story would be something of, an inspiration, or not, by him, departing this world. I took this journey, so might be like me being an inspiration for other women that they go through this same thing. Okay. But in his case would be, just knowing that I wanted to keep his legacy, alive. Not only that of what he did, but for all the other things that he did good before that.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
welcome.
want, if you allow me, I want to go back about the refocus part because that's really powerful. You made seem like it's simple the way you presented, but I know behind that there is a lot of overcoming struggle and other things. I personally have an example from a friend of mine that he lost his wife, and they were young at the time, 30 something, I think
Oh,
35.
very young. Hmm.
Yeah, and he told me the other day that restarting, well, there was the loss, so that was something to be overcame, and then restarting himself, as you're saying, refocusing. He was questioning himself. Am I worth it? So I know, and that's what I wanted to get from you. I know that took a lot from you. I have no idea what it took, but I know it took a lot from you, and you made it simple. You made it seem like it was simple. But explain it. Tell me more.
Yes. So it is simple and it's not simple. I'm gonna use the triangle example, okay?
Oh,
If we wanna go very simple, people will understand it. So imagine a triangle. On
okay.
the top, there's three components in each side. For me to refocus my second part of my life and how I understood it and how it was easy for me, it comes to this triangle. Okay. So it's focus, words, and body. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you an example of going to the gym.
Okay.
So words, and it's going to come out in the triangle. Okay. So let's use the example of, so go to the gym.
Okay.
Okay. You have two options: the option of staying where you are in your dialogue in your head, so that's words, what you're thinking, is gonna be, oh, there's a Netflix series I gotta catch up, it's so good, I'm gonna stay home. So your body is what, laying down and doing all that. And then I'm gonna be like refocusing, like my focus will be stay home. It's the easy thing to do. Refocusing is, okay, I'm gonna refocus and I'm gonna go again. What am I focusing? Well, it's the gym, it's a different place. What am I thinking? Well, I'm thinking I'm gonna lose weight. It's gonna be, my body's gonna feel better afterwards. And how's my body? It's gonna be moving. So many people try to fix the problem by going to different gym. The gym is not the problem. The what it needs to change is your focus. Because once you change the focus, it doesn't matter if you go like, like LA Fitness, or you go like the other gym. You're gonna start thinking of what you're thinking, how your body and your focus. Once you master that, it's easy to make decisions and say, okay, so for your friend, what's his internal dialogue? Is my internal not enough? Poor of me. What am I gonna do? How is his body? Is his body not eating well, being in the couch, um, being depressed or whatever? What's his focus? Is his focus still on the loss? So, how do we change that? Let's refocus. Refocus, okay, and you have to give permission of grieving. I'm not saying don't grieve. Yes, grieve your wife, do through the process, but then start refocusing. Okay, I'm gonna focus on, okay, I lost my wife, or I don't know who he lost. I'm gonna focus on whatever he wants. Maybe he finds another purpose, another job, another thing that he wanted to always do. What is his dialogue? What is he thinking? Is he thinking, okay, I'm excited about this new project. I'm good. I can do this. I'm worthy of it. How exciting to try a new thing. How exciting to have a second chance. How exciting to, so start changing your dialogue of what you're thinking, the words that are going through your head. How's your body? Are you still with a sweatshirt and just like jeans? I mean, nothing wrong to be comfortable, but oh, today I'm gonna put my exercise clothes, today I'm gonna go for a run, so your body is gonna feel different, right? And your focus is different. So baby steps will get you to like the what you want to accomplish. And that's how I did it. So it was not this big transformation all at once. It was always refocusing this triangle that I had in my mind. Okay, so today I'm gonna focus on, today is gonna be a good day. So what do? I
Yeah.
get up and I get dressed. Okay, I take all the kids to school. Okay, done. Check mark. What am I thinking? Okay, what a wonderful day. It's sunny. I'm alive. I have the energy. I have every part of my body that I can do things. So that's my dialogue. And my focus, well, today is today and today is going to be a good day. Okay, tomorrow, what's my focus?
Yeah.
And every day you gonna, that's how I did it. Like I said, okay. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have a bad day. But if I do, I'm more able to manage it in a different way. There's going to come things at you that are gonna be, like life is always testing you.
Yeah.
So you just gotta make sure that you're ready to go and say, okay, here I am. So yeah,
So it
that's how
starts.
you, yes. And so when you said, is it easy? Well, it's it's not easy in the beginning because you gotta retrain your brain to be
Yeah.
conscious of that. And it's always the action that you gotta take, because you can do for anything. If you don't take the action and do the work, well, sorry, I mean, I can tell you and give you the tools, but if you don't do that, I can't give them to you. So I think there's a phrase by Tony Robbins that says the transformation is not given to you, is you do the transformation. So I can't give you the transformation. You gotta do the work. You gotta just get in there, get dirty, try one thing, doesn't work, we'll try another one. Tomorrow is another day. And so, yeah, that's the attitude I needed for me to move and be where I am. Yeah.
So it starts by taking control of your thoughts. That's
Yes.
which is, yeah.
And
No, I won't
it's,
say it's
yeah,
simple.
yes, it's not, but there in my book there is a section of affirmations, because that's huge.
Oh,
That's huge of when it comes, when you're doing some, any change in your life, the doubt comes, the ego comes, and so you gotta be able to control what that mind of us, tells us, and kind of in a way reroute us to different ways. And so we need to make sure we know how to deal with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what motivated you? Yeah.
What motivated me to like, I guess, motivated me to what? To be here, or to be like to where I am here, or
No, I understand that demanded some energy, something that made you move. So was it maybe your kids that motivated you, or was it that internal desire to keep living? In that sense, I ask, what motivated
I
you?
think I think there was two things. One, I knew I had more than just this chance to give. I know I'm full of gifts that I can share to people. I didn't know back then what they were, okay? But I knew, and I was like, I knew that I had to come up with something, that something big was something that was gonna come out of this. Okay. And yes, the second, my kids. And you're a father, right? And so when you see your kids and you see them that they're suffering with something very painful, it was my uh what was the word I'm looking? My oh, I'm going blank on the word, but my mission, if you want to say that, to have these boys not see the pain that they were going through. So no matter what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure my kids were going to be okay. And that really initiated my journey, because I had these three little boys that I wanted to make sure that they were going to be okay. And so that pushed me to really say, okay, here we go. What are you going to do to make sure that they're good? But within me, I knew I could do it. How, I still didn't know. That those first 2 years were a lot of adaptation of like what I was gonna do. I was going through a lot of paperwork. So those first 2 years were really foggy in my life. I don't even think I remember much of it. Okay. Um, but as I was getting, they always say that the second year of grief is worse than the first one, because reality
Ooh.
really, hits you. Because the first one, everybody's still there. You're still going through the things. But really, the second year, you're really kind of, most of the stuff is being settled. Most of the stuff is being kind of resolved. So now what? What's your next move? what are you gonna do next? And so the second year can be more difficult. And from that point, I said, okay, now most of that is settled. My boys are okay. Now what do I do? That's when I started to really digging into other stuff and asking myself, how do I move forward? How do I reinvent myself? What am I gonna do? What and to do that, I made a move. So for 20 plus years, I've been here in Minnesota. Then I moved to Georgia for 2 years. After the second year, I decided to move, sold my house here in Minnesota and moved to Georgia because I had my brother, and then my other brother came and lived with us. And so I stayed there too. And when I was there, um, I was able to really take a step back, look at my life, reevaluate, and really had the time to see what I wanted to do. And so the motivation really came by the third, fourth year when I said, okay, my kids are getting older. Now they're not 6, 10, and 13. They're now in high school. They're in a couple years, one of them was going to graduate. The second one was going to follow through. And so said, okay, now what do I do? And that's kind of like the third, fourth year. I said, okay, let's start trying things. And then really life put in me the people that I needed for me to find the emotion code. So remember, I had my frozen shoulder. That's about the same time that I had it. And I met this person, and then this person said, okay, go to that person. And so the steps were kind of lining up for me. And all along, I think also I always felt like a force behind me. And I don't know who it was, if it was my husband, God, whoever was there. I think that was a big piece in my life, my faith. My faith has been a big pillar in my life of knowing that I was not alone. Yes, I was alone physically, but energetically, I really never felt alone. I felt like I always had something that, oh, okay, there's this challenge. Oh, it got solved. And I knew it was coming from heaven. So faith for me played a huge role in my life, and it will be until the end because I've seen it happening. I saw with my family, and it's just something that you feel and that you can just testify for it. But my motivation, it was just me knowing there was something bigger for me and my kids.
Yeah.
And
It
now it's
seemed,
really the desire when I see my clients and see them happy, seeing them that they're not grieving as or they're not feeling as much that heaviness. Oh, there's no price for me when I see that. When I see them moving forward, when I see them that they're, thank you for helping me and seeing, removing this or making me kind of make sense of what they're going through. There's
yeah.
just no price. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful when we can align our purpose and make it happen. And
Yeah.
it feels, yeah, the gratitude feels much more intense. It's more
Yes.
alive. Yeah, yeah. I can relate to that. And it
Yes.
seems that on the third and fourth year that you are describing, you were kind of gathering and having more strength. And now you wanted to be the same example that your fathers were to you, and you wanted to be for your
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah. 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 It's a full circle.
Yeah.
It's a full circle. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. There is a lot of transformation there. What do you think was the most remarkable transformation you had?
A good question. I think being aware that we live in a world that is sucks you into the business. Okay? When you lose someone, there's not that appreciation that they can be gone in a second. So the biggest transformation was to be aware that we can lose things. And we all know this. How many times have we heard that life can be gone in a second, right? But we're really not aware. We don't feel it until it really happens. So for me, it was slowing down and taking the time that no matter what I was doing, if my sons would say, Mom, give me a hug, I would stop and give them a hug. It was not about being busy again. I'm very aware not to let the world suck me again into that business. And it's hard because I'm doing a book, I'm doing launching, my business and doing all these things, and it's easy to get lost in that. But I take myself back and say, hey, come back. Because you gotta be present. And yes, many times they were said, live the present, live the present. And I understood what that meant, but I didn't really felt what it was not to be present until I lost my husband. And so I would say that that transformation was more of being present and really enjoying those moments with your loved ones, making experiences. So before I would say I would do other things, but now there's nothing more happy that brings me more joy than spending the day with my three boys doing something together. So it was that making sure people understand that there that we can make those connections and that we can enjoy being present with our loved ones and not letting the business of this world suck you in into just do. I again I take myself and I said no, I gotta take back and say no to other things, other commitments, so I don't lose myself again in that business. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
so hard to learn to live in the present. I'm
yes,
still learning, but I know I'm much better today than I was years ago. But
yeah,
it's so hard.
yes, it is. It is. It's just a matter, I think, that making it conscious. When you make it conscious, you kind of say, okay, wait, I'm gonna spend time with my kids, or I'm gonna be present today and really enjoy what you have for the day.
And what do you consider success to you?
What do I consider success for me?
Yeah.
I think success is I think it can be a word of like misleading, but if you are happy with yourself, the success can really become like part of it. So for me, it's not about how much I have, because at the end of our journey, we're not taking all of that stuff, right? We take memories and experiences with us. So it's not, my success is not measured on what I have. Yes, do I love nice things, and I like, to acquire things? Yes, of course. But for me, successful, it means more how happy I enjoy and am with myself and with life. That's really when it comes to, because here's another one. How many people we know that are very successful financially, but they're not happy, and all that happy things are not monetary. Like I think there was I just read or heard this one. Um, what was that? Buffett. What was his first name? I'm going blank.
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. One of the things that make him happy was sitting down and eating popcorn in front of a TV. That's not
Yeah.
money. That's not what money provides. And how many billions he was worth? Like $100 billion. And that's what he said. The happy thing for him was sitting in front of TV eating popcorn. So I mean that's just an example. of like, he was very successful, but the success didn't come to what how many millions of dollars he had. It was to like the simple things that he had. And for me,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Is how happy I am now, even though I had this tragedy in my life, how happy I am with me, and with what I have. And if I can enjoy that, then I consider myself successful. And if I can die happy, I'm considered that I'm successful. So
Yeah.
yeah. So success can be viewed as, how much you acquire in life. And for me, that's not what success is. Success is how much you're happy within, you know, with you and in this world. Yeah, we're not taking
Total,
anything. So
totally agree. I think that success is more than just financial accomplishments. That I think that's usually what people think. But
yes.
success, I think we have on small amounts every day. It's not just when I reach that goal, that big goal. No, it's the compound of that. Everything is a success.
Yes.
Yeah. And which message? I believe message, but you could put anything. If I give you a billboard, what would you? How would you use it? What message would you put there? Anyway, anything. How would you use it?
I have something that I wrote, and I think I have it here. And I have a couple of phrases, but I'm going to start with the first one. And I want to say that my mission is to make empathy simple, presence powerful, and comfort possible. So I'm going to repeat it again. My mission is to make empathy simple, presence powerful, and comfort possible.
Wow.
And with that, that really kind of summarized like what it's in my book. Because like I said, I started with saying, empathy and presence is the gifts as humans that we can give for free. It doesn't cost us anything. And so yeah, it's my message is to be more empathetic, be present for people, and make it comfortable. Don't make it awkward or make it, yeah, awkward or silent. Yeah, be that bridge of connecting, with people. So
So beautiful. So
thank you.
powerful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank
I
you.
I felt even remotely. I felt a lot. A lot of times goosebumps here, and all the energy, all the great lessons you were giving me and anyone that's gonna have this. My purpose here is help bring several references from people amazing like you that have their journeys, and we help them somehow. So, and yeah, you crushed it. Uh, I will have a lot to digest. And well, it was
Well, you
amazing.
know, you know where you can find me, Fernando. So that's we have that, and
Yeah,
I want to take the opportunity to thank you for being the voice, for being that bridge for those that were starting. It's sometimes hard to find, somebody that wants to interview you, and you were very open to do that for me. And so
yeah.
for those of us that were starting, I just want to really thank you. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to share my mission, my what I'm doing. And if I can be that little seed of, inspiration to people, thanks to you, because you make it possible for others to see. Thank you so much for having me over, and being able to share, with you and with your audience all the, the journey that I've been going through. And they can find me, I have my Facebook and my Instagram as DamarisEmotionCode.com. They can also go, and in there they'll find the book, so they can go on Amazon.com and look for Voices of Empathy. And then I do also have on my website there's going to be events that I'm going to be doing, book launches and stuff. I have one coming up. It doesn't matter where you are because I'm going to have it in person, but they will be kind of videotape live on Facebook so people can see. So it's going to be, the first one is September 11th, so it's coming up in a couple weeks. And then I'll be posting the other ones that come out that I can go ahead and share with, with the audience. But again, thank you for having me over.
No, it was my pleasure, my honor. What's the website? I'll put in the link
Yes,
below, the website and the book. But what's the website?
it's damarisemotioncode.com.
Ah, okay. I thought that was only for the Instagram and Facebook. Okay, good.
Well,
That
that's
makes
my
simple.
name also for Facebook and Instagram. I show up in all pretty much the same. So it's easy for people to kind of find me. So the website, Facebook, and Instagram have the same name, damarisemotioncode.com. So
Great,
simple and easy.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So, yeah,
Thank you.
amazing. Talk to
Okay.
you soon.
Okay.
Bye bye, Damaris.
Bye.